Hey guys, so I thought I would record my labor and delivery story and also kind of my pregnancy story. Right now it's actually 1:40, so yes, if you're wondering, I just took a shower and I really didn't do much makeup. We've been laying around, me and Ella. If I look that way, it's because Ella's right there. So we've been laying around, and if you're a mom, you get tired. So I figured I would just maybe put on a little bit of makeup and go ahead and record this story. So I guess we can start off. Well, I got pregnant back in March, I believe. That's really bad that I can't remember. Let me see. Okay, I got pregnant back in April. I actually found out when I was like 4 weeks pregnant, 4 to 6 weeks pregnant, because you kind of just know. It's hard to explain, like when you actually, if you've ever been pregnant or if you ever get pregnant, it's just kind of like an instinct, I guess. Or I was feeling nauseous a lot and just like always hungry, and but what's new? So yeah, and then I kind of just like knew. Obviously, you know when you don't use protection or you don't, you're gonna get pregnant, or you're risking getting pregnant. So I wasn't too naive about that. I kind of found out really early. My fiance actually went to go get a pregnancy test, and I took it. It came back positive. I actually took like 3 or 4 pregnancy tests, and it was still kind of hard to believe. So I scheduled an appointment with an OB, and I went to the OB, and they confirmed that I was pregnant, and I was like 6 weeks along. So it was really hard to tell my parents. We're not young. We're 21 and 23. Some may think it's young, but it's not that young. We were just real concerned because, yes, we weren't together that long. But that's a whole another story. I don't think it really matters how long we were together. Maybe we could, yes, we should have waited. But I really don't think like the time that you're with somebody determines how much you really love them. So anyways, yeah, we ended up telling my parents. But all throughout my pregnancy, my first trimester was really tough on me. I was always tired, very fatigued, just very nauseous, couldn't really eat much. So I was just really fatigued, and that was really hard on me because I was working at the time full time and at a daycare or at a private school, and so it took a lot out of me, just that, and then also being pregnant. So the first trimester was really rough. I felt like I couldn't sleep enough. Like I would nap when I'd get home from work and wake up to eat, and then still be able to sleep throughout the night. So I was very tired. Once I came out of that, everything was pretty much fine. I really didn't gain weight in the first trimester, which was good. So I think I was after my first trimester though, I think I kind of like took advantage, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those girls like, oh, I'm pregnant, I can eat whatever. I started gaining weight quickly. Sorry, my daughter's right here. She's falling asleep. She's always fighting her sleep. So yeah, I started gaining weight quickly in my second trimester because I was like taking advantage of the fact that I was pregnant, which you shouldn't do. You really shouldn't even be eating that much extra just because you're pregnant. So that was already like a big concern. So then I took my glucose test, and I was actually really nervous about that. So if you've ever been pregnant, you know that you go to the OB, you drink this sugary drink, and then you're there for an hour, and then they take your blood. Well, that's what happened, and they called me back and told me I failed it, and they said that it's very common to fail it. So then I wasn't too worried about it. So then I had to go back the following week for a 3-hour test, and so I had to drink your drink, and then every hour for 3 hours they took my blood. So then that happened, and they came back, and it turns out that I had gestational diabetes. And if you don't know what gestational diabetes, it's just a type of diabetes you get when you're pregnant. I found that out, so they referred me to a specialist to keep an eye on that. So I want to say that was maybe like when I was like 20, 29 weeks or 30 weeks. I found that out. I can't really remember. Whenever you know, so take that glucose test, I mean. So, I think I was like 30 weeks, 29 or 30 weeks. Well then, so I was keeping an eye on that. I got referred to a specialist. I got put on a special diet. We were just monitoring it like that. I only had a certain amount of calories I can eat and a certain amount of carbs. So that was, it was kind of hard because I've never had diabetes, so I never had to watch what I ate, or, so it was very hard for me. Then my doctor's appointment was on a Monday. It was like my 32-week checkup or whatever. And so my doctor appointment was on a Monday. It was in the afternoon. Me and my fiance came to Austin to look at some apartments because we were moving to Austin. And if you've been watching our videos, you know that we live in Austin now. So we had been doing that, and I noticed that I was, a lot more. I noticed that I was swelling a lot more in my feet, but I just figured, okay, maybe because we were walking around a lot, whatever. I didn't think much of it. So then I, went to my doctor's appointment. I think it was like at 4 or something. And a couple weeks, because I was going to the week before I went to the specialist, and then a week, because at that time I was going every 2 weeks to the doctor, to the OB. So the week before that I went to the specialist for the diabetes, and then the week before that I had my original OB appointment. So then the 32-week checkup that I went to, I went in there, they took my blood pressure, and it was elevated. And I noticed that before. Sorry, I had to feed Ella just to top her off so she could take a nap because she's been fighting her sleep. So I noticed that that 32 week, when I went to the OB at 32 weeks, the last 2 appointments, the last 2 weeks, my blood pressure was elevated as well. So when they told me that my blood pressure was elevated again, this time I told them, I was like, well, I noticed that the last 2 appointments I had my blood pressure was elevated as well. So then the medical assistant told me to lay on my left side, because that's what they tell you to do when you have high blood pressure. So to lay on my left side, and that she was going to get the nurse practitioner and see, check it again and then see what they want to do. So then they had me lay on my left side, and then maybe 5 minutes later the nurse practitioner came in and she checked it, and it was still elevated. So she told me that she wanted me to go to labor and delivery at the hospital, which the hospital was literally right next door from my OB. So she wanted me to go to labor and delivery so they can monitor it. Sorry, I have a hard time with that word. Monitor it, and then they were, it was probably nothing. They were probably going to put me on bed rest, maybe monitor me for 24 hours, and then, so we're like, okay, whatever, that's fine. So then we went to the hospital next door, and they, hooked everything up. They took my blood pressure. They put an IV just in case. Well, my blood pressure was even more elevated. So then they're like, okay, we're gonna admit you. We're gonna put you in a room, and we're gonna monitor you for 24 hours. And then because your blood pressure is really high, and that's a sign of hypertension, which is preeclampsia. So then they told me that they were gonna give me 2 steroids, just in case they had to deliver the baby early, because I was only 32 weeks. So her lungs weren't fully developed, so they were going to give me steroids to, in case she did have to come early, she would have that in her, and, hopefully help her develop her lungs that quicker. And so they admitted me to the hospital, and we were like, okay, 24 hours, we'll be out of here tomorrow, I'll be on bed rest, everything will be fine. So I just called my dad, because I didn't want to call my mom, because my mom would have worried, and she would have came, whatever. So I called my dad just to let him know. He's okay, he didn't think it was a big deal, neither did we. So then, we were there, and we were there waiting, and they set me up in my room. They gave me this steroid shot, which it freaking hurts so bad. They give it to you in your butt, because it's so thick. So then they gave me that, and they're like, okay, well, we'll come back and check on you in a couple hours. So then I ended up calling my mom just to tell her, and she's like, no, I'm going to come right now. We're on our way, because they lived in Austin at the time, so she's like, we're going to come right now, and from Austin to San Antonio is an hour away. Sorry. But anyways, so they're like, we're going to come right now. We're on our way, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, And then good thing she came. So because the doctor came, so when they were admitting me, they took blood work just to see where everything was at. So the doctor came in, and the doctor's like, you're not going to make it 24 hours. We need to deliver this baby now, within an hour. I was scared. I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, he was like, we're going to deliver it by C-section, and then you're going to have the baby within an hour. I was just in shock, so I'm just like hearing what he's telling me, and then he leaves, and the nurse is like, doing whatever she's doing, and I turned to her, and I was like, so I'm having her right in an hour? She goes, yes, you're gonna have her by C-section. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I was only 32 weeks. She was not even supposed to come yet, and I just started bawling. So yeah, I started bawling my eyes out because I was like, what the heck? She's only 32 weeks. She's not supposed to be due to January. This was in November. And me and my fiance were kind of like, we were scared. We didn't think she was going to make it. Prior to that, we found out, we knew she was about 4 pounds. So that scared us even more. A 4-pound baby at 32 weeks, like, that worried us. I started crying. Good thing my mom was on her way because I don't think, I could have done it, right? I think it would have been harder not having my parents there. So then he called his parents and he just told them, because he had already told his parents what was going on, but they weren't going to come up because we didn't know for sure, and they lived even farther than my parents, so we didn't want to worry too many people. We just wanted them to know what was going on. So then he told them, and we went. They said that they were going to come. They were kind of freaking out. They're like, don't worry, we're on our way. So they had to drive about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I didn't know what my fiance was thinking. I think he felt like he had to be strong for the both of us. So he kind of just, tried to, be strong and, told me, don't worry, it's going to be okay. But inside he was, he didn't know if I was going to make it. He didn't know if the baby was going to make it. And this was all after everything. I did ask him how he felt. So they said within an hour I was going to deliver her by C-section, which was scary. So mind you, I didn't have any contractions. I didn't, I didn't have the regular labor. I didn't like, oh my gosh, I have contractions, or my water broke, or this is painful. Like nothing hurt me, like that, which is so strange because they were like, you don't feel different. I was like, no, I have a headache, but I just thought that was normal. And so they're like, that was a sign of high blood pressure. And so I didn't have like the regular, labor that most moms have. I didn't have any of the contractions or anything. It was just going to a regular OB appointment and then finding out I'm having my baby within an hour. So they prepped me for my C-section. They were letting me know that they were going to put me on magnesium afterwards, and magnesium was to help because I was still going to have high blood pressure. It was just safer that the baby got out, because if the baby would have stayed in and I had that hypertension, I could have had a seizure and it could have been a lot worse, which is what happened to my mom with my brother. So it's a good thing that I had that OB appointment, because if I didn't, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know, if she would have made it, if it would have been a lot worse. But we were so grateful that I had that OB appointment, and so God was definitely looking out for us on that day. And so they prepped me, they took me back. Once they got the spinal tap, I think it's called spinal something. So I think it's called spinal tap. That thing also freaking hurts. It feels, it's so painful. Like it's like, they have the epidural for when you're gonna, give birth, like, vaginally. But so I had to get a spinal tap for a C-section. And it freaking hurt, and I felt like it took forever. It really didn't, but I felt like it did. And so I was so scared that I was shaking. Like my arms were just shaking so bad. Like they were trying to check my blood pressure while I was laying down on the operating table and they were getting ready to cut me open, like my arms were shaking so bad because I was just so scared. So they couldn't even take a blood pressure for me. So then I felt like, it was so quick. Like you don't feel anything. I mean, of course you feel like, you don't feel no pain. You just, obviously you feel someone like down, around your stomach, but it's not pain or anything. So, my fiance was right there. We were just talking normal. Like it didn't, it just happened so quickly. And then you do feel like they tell you, you're going to feel a lot of pressure as they're pulling the baby out. And so I did feel a lot of that pressure. And then one thing I was really concerned about was hearing her cry. So they pulled her out and she cried. And so I was really happy about that. They had to immediately wash her off and take her to the NICU. So I literally saw her for maybe like 5 seconds. They came in, showed her to me, let me kiss her, and they had to take her back. Then my fiance went back with them, so that he could get updated on everything. And so they got me all stitched up and they took me back to the room. And I was on magnesium, so I couldn't walk at all. I had to stay in bed for 2 days. So for 2 days, I did not get to see my baby. I didn't get to have that skin to skin. I didn't, that hour of skin to skin, or anything like that. They didn't come and bring my baby to come so I can feed her. Like, no, I didn't get to experience that. But I am grateful that she's here today, and I am grateful that she is okay. It was, hard at the beginning, and it was hard because I had to stay in the hospital for a week. So she was in the NICU, so I had to stay in the hospital for a week, and she, when I got released, she had to stay in. So that was even harder. I cried and cried, and even when we go visit her, because we were at the NICU as much as possible, I just, every time we leave, I would just cry because I felt, I was sad that I didn't get that moment to take her home with me. I saw these moms, waiting in the downstairs for, their husband to bring the car, where the nurse, they were sitting in their wheelchair with their newborn baby, and the nurse was, helping them. And, I was sad that I didn't have that moment. And, it was very hard. It was hard to be away from her. But I am grateful that she's here. I am grateful that she's home. So she was in the NICU for, about 6 weeks. So yeah, I had a C-section. I was in there for a week. The C-section, after 2 days, when I finally got to get out of bed, oh my gosh, it was painful. I felt like when I was sitting up, because you gotta keep in mind I was laying down. So as I was sitting up, I just felt like my incision was just gonna rip open because it just hurt so bad. And so I had to go. They wanted me to do it slowly. I went to the bathroom just to clean up, because I wasn't able to go to the bathroom. But then when they got me off the magnesium and they took the catheter out. Yes, TMI, I had a catheter, and that felt weird coming out. It got uncomfortable like a couple hours before they were taking me off the magnesium, because they didn't take me off the magnesium till about 10 o'clock at night. So I want to say maybe around 4 o'clock, somewhere around midday, the catheter was getting uncomfortable, and so I was just ready for that thing to come out. So anyways, I went to the bathroom and let me go to the bathroom, but I was getting so nauseous and so lightheaded. I felt like I was going to pass out, which they said that was going to be common. So if that happened, I should lay back down and we would try again in an hour. So 2 nurses had to help me back to the bed. They gave me I guess they give you so that you smell alcohol pad, because I guess it helps with the nausea and the, dizziness. So then they gave me that. We walked back to my bed. They let me lay there for about an hour. And then after an hour, she came back in and she asked me if I was ready to get up because I was going to go see Ella in the NICU. I was so excited. Y'all don't even know. I was so excited because I didn't get to see her for 2 days. And everybody was seeing her, which was great. She had a whole bunch of visitors, which I'm so happy about. She was so loved. But I just didn't get to see her. I saw pictures and, I was happy that everybody came, that all of our family came. But, hearing everybody, oh, she looks like this, oh, it kind of, selfish me, I was sad because I was like, okay, I get it, you saw her, I haven't, it was a lot. It was very, hard for me, especially being a first-time mom. So that was, hard to get through. But so I was so excited to finally go see her. So when they told me we're gonna try again, so we tried again in an hour. I was able to. I wanted to get up to the NICU. Like, I was determined that night to go, because they were gonna wait till the morning. I was like, no, I want to go. And so I was finally able to get up, get in a wheelchair, and I went to go see her. I even think I have a video, so I might put that in somewhere around here. And I read to her. She was in an incubator, so I didn't get to hold her, but I did get to open the little doors and touch her. But
telephone and the red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mesh, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, moon. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. And good night, mittens. Good night, clocks. And good night, socks. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. Good night, comb. And good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, "Hush."
we couldn't do that for too long because she had to stay warm. And so I was able to read to her, and it was the best feeling. I was so happy. But yeah, that's my labor story. She is here today. I was going to show her, but like I said, she's been real fussy and fighting her sleep, so she's finally asleep back there behind me in her swing. The only way she would fall asleep, I don't know. I will be doing another video. I'll probably do her life in the NICU, and then also her 2-month update, to kind of like fill y'all in about that, because she is 2 months right now. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for upcoming videos about her and about her NICU life, and just continue to watch our channel. This is the life with the preemie. It is a little bit different. I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to because I don't have any other kids, but you know, it is a preemie. She is a preemie, so it is a little bit different. So yeah, if you would like to see more, just go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Bye.